So a few weeks ago, I went on to Temu. I'm still trying to figure out which one it is. I've heard people say several different things, but I went on to Temu and I bought a bunch of guitar pedals, about 7 of them to be exact, at about 20 bucks a piece. That is crazy, crazy low. And not gonna lie, I was actually very pleasantly surprised with a lot of those guitar pedals, and you guys seem to really, really like that video. So what would any rational person in their right mind go and do after that? Well, go back onto Temu and spend some more money. We have a new box in from Temu. Let's go ahead and open it up. Let's see what we got. And not gonna lie, looking at the box when it came in, I don't know if the packing was done very well. It looks like it's been stepped on a few times, so hopefully what we got is okay. Actually, you know, not too bad. I'm glad there was another box inside of this one box that got smashed, so definitely kudos to whoever packaged this, but let's not speak too soon. Let's get into the other one here. Right. I'm sure you guys can tell by now, it's most likely a guitar. Let's go ahead and get some of this wrapping off of here. Sorry about any of the noise with the wrapping. The styrofoam's very squeaky. Looks like I get a whammy bar, got an Allen wrench, and a guitar cable. Actually, not too bad. That is not bad whatsoever. Okay. Well, this is a guitar brand by the name of Dlaso. It's D-L-A-S-O. When I went to purchase the guitar, it was in all caps, so it could be an acronym for something, but not too bad. I do see that the highest, I don't even know if I'd consider it a fret, after the 24th, right after there's a little bit of like a lip hanging over, but this is a really nice kind of candy apple red, kind of sparkly, a little metallic. I don't hate it whatsoever. See, we have a single coil pickup in the middle. We got 2 humbuckers on the, one on the bridge, one on the neck, obviously. And it looks like a maple fretboard and maple neck. Not bad whatsoever, but you know, the guitars can look good, but really what we're here to find out is a $100 guitar from Temu any good? Let's get into it. So I went ahead and I let this guitar acclimate to the dryness and the weather up where I live, because it is very, very dry up here. But this is the Dlaso Temu guitar. And I'm going to call it that because there is not a lot of information on this guitar. And I believe it is called Dlaso, not Dlaso or D-L-A-S-O. But this is the Temu guitar. Like I said, there's not a lot of information. I was trying to look up some stuff, and even on the Temu page, what I could find was very, very little about this guitar and the specs and all of that stuff. So we're gonna call it the Temu guitar for now. But I did what I would do with just about any new guitar that I would get. I went ahead and I threw some new strings on it. I put the Ernie Ball Beefy Slinkies, which is gauge 54 through 11. And I like to throw those on my 6-string guitars just because I like to down tune them, so I need a little bit of a bigger gauge so they're not just flopping off the guitar. I also went ahead and I polished up the guitar, made it all nice and shiny, and of course, oiled the fretboard just to keep the fretboard nice and healthy, especially in the dryness up here. So let me tell you guys about the different specs on this guitar, or at least what I know about the specs on this guitar. This guitar just does not have a lot of information online, and this is a first for me. Usually I will have a whole list of different specs all memorized and listed out for the guitars before I even bring it to you, but this is what I know about the DeLasso Temu guitar. It is a 25.5 inch scale length, which I find very interesting because I have a lot of my 6 strings are mostly at 25.5 inches for the scale length from nut to bridge. And I did measure this one and I measured the other ones myself, and yeah, it checks out. But the tension on this guitar is so much higher than my other 6 strings, and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the springs on the back of the tremolo system or what, but it is keeping this guitar super tight. So I was not able to get up to even drop C or drop D. I had to settle with drop A sharp on this guitar's tuning, which actually feels fairly normal, not bad at all, but I find that to be a very low tuning for a 6-string guitar. I found that a little bit interesting. The neck and fretboard are made out of acacia, which I have no experience with acacia, so I actually looked it up just to make sure it was an actual wood, and yes, it is. I'm assuming it's probably a cheaper wood due to the price point of this guitar, but it is very light, and I'm thinking that the body is not made out of mahogany or anything like that. It might be some sort of composite, but I am not fully sure. And I expected the neck and fretboard to be made out of maple just because of the lighter color, but no, it is made out of acacia. And then of course we have our bolt-on neck here with a neck joint that I believe is going to make it a little bit difficult to reach the higher frets. So it comes down the neck and then just kind of hits this wall and then up and over the top. So we'll see how the access to the higher frets are, but I don't think it's going to be very easy to get up there. And one thing that I really am loving about this guitar is the candy apple red finish. I think the finish is probably my favorite part of this guitar so far. As far as the other specs go, I'm imagining it's a lot of stuff that is built in-house, like the bridge and the pickups. There's not a lot of other names other than the DeLasso up on the top. Now we're to the part where I get to tell you guys a bunch of the issues I have with this guitar. There are a lot of issues, and they're actually very big issues in my opinion. Obviously, keep in mind this is a $100 guitar, so you really cannot expect a ton out of it, but I still want to tell you guys some of the issues that I have with this guitar. Starting with the nicks in the fretboard. I have 2 nicks. I have one right here. I can kind of get my nail underneath it. And then I have one on the bottom of the neck, or the top of the neck here. It's almost like when they were working on the frets, the file dug into the fretboard just ever so slightly, but it's just enough for me to get my nail in there and really feel it. So that's not great. And then the frets are a whole other story. The frets is probably the worst thing on this guitar. Whoever was working on the frets should not be working on frets. They did not finish their job. There is legitimate grooves in my frets. I don't know what material this is, whether it's stainless steel or nickel or whatever, but there are grooves. And see if you guys can hear this. That is ridiculous. When I bend my string, it's like a washboard. I feel literal grooves in the frets. I thought it was the fretboard at the very beginning, but no, it actually turned out to be the frets. So that is not great whatsoever. And then let's talk about the tuning pegs. The tuning pegs, they do not keep this guitar in tune very well. So if I was to keep this guitar, I would definitely change out the tuning pegs for sure. Obviously, we do not have a locking nut here, and we do have a whammy bar, so whenever I use the whammy bar, it goes crazy out of tune, but that's to be expected. I was actually kind of expecting the tuning pegs to not hold this guitar in very great tune. And then the neck, on the back of the neck, it's like some parts are smooth, and then when I get like right here on the back, it is very rough. It's like it did not get sanded right here. It's very hit and miss on the back of the neck, but there are definitely a few rough spots for sure. And then when the neck joint comes into the body of the guitar, I did notice a little bit of paint chipping. So that is the bad parts of this guitar. Let's talk about some of the good parts. And of course, with the bad parts, there are also some good aspects of this guitar, being I love the finish on this guitar. I think the finish is really cool. If it wasn't for that little chip, it would be absolutely perfect in my opinion. And actually, I don't think that the pickups sound bad at all. I was actually very pleasantly surprised with the pickups. They responded just fine, and all the electronics really seemed to check out with me. I'm definitely liking it. I would say if I was to keep this guitar, maybe I would just change out the neck completely. Since it is a bolt-on, maybe I can get a nicer neck and nicer headstock, get some new tuning pegs on it and all that stuff. But the body of the guitar is like the best part of everything that's going on right here. And that was the DeLasso Temu guitar, guys. I had a ton of fun checking out this guitar, and really I had no idea what to expect with it. I mean, it is a $100 guitar, so you really cannot ask for a ton, but obviously there was some areas that really pleasantly surprised me, but of course there were a lot of areas that really fell flat on their face, and they were some issues that you just cannot ignore. So I'm thinking about possibly doing a follow-up video where I fix some of those issues, whether it's replacing the neck or just fixing whatever needs to be fixed on the guitar to make it a proper playing guitar, a guitar that just feels great and sounds great. So definitely let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see that video. If you are enjoying my videos in any way, shape, or form, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Helps me out a ton here on the channel. And with that being said, my name is Chris with High Impact Audio, and I will see you guys next time.